Hi guys, I'm Crystal with Crystal Clear Photography. I'm a brand photographer, content creator, and flat lay photographer. I'm also a mom of 2 girls. Coming to you today a little bit on my blog to talk to you about being a business owner. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually talking to you a little bit about brand consistency. I wanted to let you know a few of my top tips for keeping brand consistency throughout all of your images so that you start to become recognized for the images that you're putting out there, and the people immediately associate you and your branding together and can recognize it right away. It's one of the things that I most commonly get told by people is that they always seem to know my branding and my business right off the bat. So you can have the same look, same feel, and hear the same things from your audience by sticking to a few key things. And that's one of the biggest tricks, sticking to it. So what I do first to make sure that I keep consistency throughout my images is I stop to always ask myself, does what I'm doing fit my color palette? Is this yellow jacket suited to my color palette? Probably not. My color palette is white, soft pinks, and grays. So my chair probably fits, my shirt probably fits, but this yellow jacket probably doesn't. So whenever you're in doubt as to whether or not something would help you create brand consistency or should be utilized maybe in a photo shoot, ask yourself, does this fit my brand palette? Is this most ideal to keep that consistency throughout my images and the social content that I'm putting out there? Second thing would be to add in consistent elements. So one consistent element that I'm always known for is a coffee mug. So maybe you have a coffee mug in every photo. Maybe it's a fun coffee mug one time, maybe the next time it's decorative, it's got different elements and things to it. So it's not the same boring thing, but the color palette stays the same. See how I always say it, the color palette's one of the biggest things. But you can always have certain elements that you keep in your photos. So in my flat lay photos, I always have coffee. In every shoot that I do, I always have a coffee mug. May not always be the same mug, but I have one. Some of the other things that I always keep consistently with me are like my phone or my laptop. My laptop cover is a light pink. So things like that. So I would think about consistent elements that you can have that maybe will flow through both stock photos as well as brand photos that you might do, and keep those same core elements with you at all times. And then of course make sure to take really good care of them, maybe not actually using them on a daily basis so that you're not worried about breaking them or having to find something new to replace it. Things like that. So I take really good care of the things that I have, but I make sure to keep those consistent elements through all my images so that way you start to recognize and see those same similar things over and over and over again. Another tip that I have is keeping the same light source and location. So consistently keeping those things means that people are going to constantly recognize your images. And that, if your brand's changing, that's a little bit different. But for me, everyone knows that white is my key thing. And most of the time I'm in a white room or a white couch, or I have, a white environment set up around me with the walls and the props and the things that I'm using. So it's something that I'm regularly known for. So I keep up that consistency in all of my images, even with my flat lay photos. Everything is based around white, bright elements. So keep consistent with your light source. I shoot in the same studio at the same time of the day every single week because I know that I have optimal lighting that's desired to the way that I like to shoot and the way I like to have my images, whether I'm shooting images for myself or I'm shooting images for a client. I keep those things consistent so that I don't have to worry about having different shades of lighting throughout my images. That's a big trick. So if you know that you shoot your videos at a certain time of the day, make sure to shoot them at the certain time of the day every single week so that you can keep your lighting more consistent. Obviously, if you're using natural light, it's a little bit of a trade-off because sometimes it can be brighter. Like right now, it's a little bright on this side, and sometimes it's not. And it doesn't mean that every time it's going to be 100% perfect, but if you keep that same light source and you keep that same location, it'll be also just things that you can add in to help you keep up that consistency. And those are just some of the things that I do. So to quickly recap, I make sure to ask myself constantly, does what I'm doing or what I'm including prop-wise go along with the color palette? Does it at least complement the color palette, like this yellow shirt versus the white and the greens and the pinks that I'm known for? Or making sure to add in consistent elements like the coffee mugs, or if you're a hat person and you always have a cute hat on, little elements like that that you can use that might be versatile between your brand images and your flat lay photography. And then lastly, making sure to keep that same light source and environment. If you shoot in a certain spot, you really like that spot, and that's where it's really versatile for you to be able to do, then do that. I shoot in that white room in the studio, and I keep that same light source, and I shoot at the same time every single week to make sure that I have the optimal lighting every single time, and my clients are happy, I'm happy, and of course my brand stays consistent, and so does theirs. So hopefully that helps you create a little bit more consistency throughout your brand and your images. If you have any questions at all, please make sure to leave me a message or shoot me an email at info@crystalclearphotographyaz.com. Until next time.